Hi, my name's Marissa, and it's Friday, February 6th, 2025, and it's time for another Flosstube video. Today is Flosstube number 38. Thank you for joining me. Welcome back if you're returning, and thank you for coming and checking me out if you're new. I hope you find something you like and choose to stick around. It's been a long couple weeks. January finally ended. That was a long one. It just felt really, really long. Yesterday around here we had a snow day. It was really exciting. It only snowed for about 5 hours of the day, but because the majority of the snow was going to come down right at pickup time, we got a day off. So we've had 2 late starts due to snow this year, and they were going to do an early release, but the storm kind of moved in a little too early. We're supposed to get snow again on Sunday, so we've got pretty good accumulation outside. My kiddo and my husband built a little snow fort with those we have block forms. So I'll put a picture of that in just so you could see the fun. They kind of did it on top of the plow corner too. So I think after this weekend they're going to build one on the other side of the driveway too, so that the girls can have snowball fights across the driveway and have their own little fortress for cover. So that is the snow fun that is happening here in Maine. I live in southern coastal Maine, and we have gotten a lot more snow this year than last year. Actually just had a memory pop up on my I think it was on my Facebook, but we had tapped our tree last year this week, and we are nowhere near tapping our tree. So I've talked about it a little bit before, but just if you don't know, so you tap your trees when the temperature is below freezing at night and above freezing during the day. That is when the sap is running the heaviest, and that is when you will get the most. So everybody that taps trees is on weather watch now because we're kind of coming into that season. Maine Maple Sunday is the 3rd Sunday in March, and that typically a lot of the more major syrup producers have more product already ready to go at that point. But I think this year people are going to be in heavy boil mode still on May Maple Sunday, which will be cool because I mean they usually are still boiling because they accumulate so much sap that they boil further into the season, whereas once May Maple Sunday hits, we with our 1 tree and 3 taps are usually done. Although we might try to kind of, with permission, tap throughout our neighborhood so we can have one more source. For some reason that homegrown maple syrup goes a lot faster than the stuff that you buy at the store, even the real stuff from the store. Ours just flies out of our house, so it's so good and just amazing. Anyways, so more maple sap stories to come, I guess, in the future. That's a little bit about me. I am a crafter, and this is a cross-stitch channel, but I also talk about the goings-on, and I'm a gardener and a quilter and a crocheter. I haven't had a crochet to show. I haven't been really doing any projects. I have a blanket that's on the go that I do usually work on in winter, but I've been doing a lot of other projects. So speaking of other projects, I don't have them to show you, but I'm going to show you a picture of the 2 tigers done. I showed them last week. My hands got beat up making those tigers. They were really fun, and after the fact I realized I probably should have used a doll needle because they're curved. Instead, I just wrecked my hands and stabbed so many times. No thimble could save me. No thimble would work. It just slowed me down, and so I ended up wrecking my fingertips for the most part. So but they were worth it. They were really cute, and the recipient got them and loves them, and so Took a load off my plate to get those out. I am a procrastinator when it comes to due dates, and I never will have anything I don't feel like to show you. I sent off like the quilt that I made right after I pulled it out of the dryer, and I sent those tigers off right when I was done. I just like to get things out the door. Okay, and I will mention, we're gonna get to cross stitch, I promise. I will mention that I'll talk about it more at the end of the video because I have something else to show for it. But if you don't catch or stay to the end of the video, there is a quilt block swap. We're just swapping 10 2-inch fabric squares, different ones, because I'm trying to make a postage stamp quilt and I want all my little squares to be different. So I'm organizing swaps to help that out. Again, I'll talk a little bit more about it, but the link's down below if you don't make it to the end of the video. And if you want to sign up, there's details there, and I will go over details at the end, so you can also just skip to the end. Okay. Whew. I'm going to show you my new start because we got to show some stitching because we're like 5 minutes plus in. I started Dreaming of Klimt. I will put a picture of what it looks like right here. This is by Barbara Anna Designs. I had this in, of course I dropped my notes. I have had this in my stash for a little while now, and I really wanted to get it started. I mentioned it to in a group chat that I was in that I had it and that I wanted to start it, and Julie, Kansas City girl in a Colorado world, said she wanted to stitch it with me, and then I posted about it, and then Sarah from I Swear I'm Stitching said she would like to do it, and then Shelly from It's Only Stitching, or Shelly X Stitch on Instagram, she might be doing it. I know she's been busy with jury duty, so I don't know if she is joining us, but I got my start yesterday. It was the anniversary of Gustav Klimt's passing, and this is the start that I got. So I have my Klimt needle minder. That is the Kiss. I was wearing the Kiss socks yesterday too. I posted a picture of them on my Instagram. I'll have to put up another one. But I have socks that my grandma gave me that have the Kiss on them, and then I have my needle minder that has the Kiss on it. So this is where I got to. Not too shabby. I didn't have a ton of stitching time yesterday. I had to work and it was a snow day, so the girls were home, and yeah, life was a little crazy doing all the things, momming and working, and by the time it was over I was tired, but I got this done. This is 32 count Woodland from Forbidden Fiber Company. I am stitching it 2/2 with the called for DMC, except I will not be using the satin. I have a Rainbow Gallery that I'm probably going to substitute. I think it might actually be the same one that Sarah at I Swear I'm Stitching is using. So we'll see if that works. If not, maybe I will like go get the satin, but I think that Rainbow Gallery should work fine. So that is my new start. So I am on track for my amount of new starts for the year. This is my 3rd new start of the year. I am kind of aiming for 2 a month to get to 25 for 2025. So we are chugging along and we are on track. I did kit this one up a little different. So if you've been around for a couple weeks, I think it might have even been my last episode, I talked about how I kit, or I pull from my master set of DMC. Well, I went to Goodwill and I found a giant book of kind of cardstocky scrapbook paper, and I grabbed it because it was $2 for a full pack. I think I was only missing a couple pages. And then I went to Martin's, which if you watch any other main cross stitchers, we'll talk about it, but it's like a salvage store. So they get like a lot of just, I think they buy like undeliverable packages. They buy excess stock from stores. And so it just, you end up with a lot of stuff. And I was walking through and glancing at the shelves of just like stuff. So I think it's either like stuff that gets sent back to Amazon that they like don't do anything with. They say it's from a major online retailer. So that's my guess on who it's from. It might also be from like Walmart.com or wherever like they source from. But it's just all the, I think it's all the stuff that gets sent back. Anyways, I found a giant bag of like these rings that you use for like floss drops and stuff. So, and I was going on a little mini retreat. So I got to working on floss drops. So I made a set of floss drops for everyone that was going to be at our little gathering. And then I decided that that was how I was going to kit this project up. So these are my floss drops. I made them this way with the 2 holes because I love having a second hole to put like a smaller length of floss in if I've used just a partial, and it's too much for me to throw away and enough for me to keep, but I don't want to put it, I want to make sure I use it first. So that's what I made the second hole for. And yeah, so I pulled like only 1 or 2 strands of each color and put them on here. So it like looks kind of like it's a sad little kit, but it is a little kit for me to keep with this project so that I can kind of take it on the go rather than having to carry my big box around. But I also didn't go to the craft store and buy a new skein for each one of the colors that I needed. So here we are with that. So yeah, that was exciting. So I kind of taught myself how to use my Cricut for that. I had put on all the floss drops. Well, so I taught myself to use it like months ago, and I put on all the floss drops and I printed them all out and I pulled them off the paper and dealt with the sticky board and all that stuff. And then I was like, oh, now I need to punch holes in all of these. Oh, I need different size hole punches. And my husband looked at me, he was like, doesn't the Cricut cut holes for you? And I was like, oh, bonk. So I went back and did them this time, but like there's a couple extra steps in there. It's not like totally intuitive. And so like I set it all up and I did the thing and then I pushed go and it like rearranged my whole page and like put my circles in a different spot. And I was like, ugh. Anyways, I figured it out. But of course, at last minute, Marissa was doing it like I was working and feeding my Cricut the pages at the same time the day that I was leaving for my the little cross stitch gathering. So yeah, they all got done. Everyone got their floss drops. And then I had a couple extra that I made just to make sure, because I did a bunch of different colors and let people choose what they would like. So that was awesome. I will show you a little bit. It wasn't like a giant retreat or anything, but you know, I feel like we're all kind of the same way where we like make little things for our friends that we're going to see. So Amy, she made a little like thread bed, and it has a little hook and a little thing for your needle, and it has a little snap closure. I have these snap makers. I have them because of like they're what you use when you like cloth diaper now, is these like little snaps. So it's funny. I was like, oh, I mean, obviously these are not like recycled from that. It just has another use, but that is like where my background comes from on that. And then Missy made us a really nice little coaster. And let's see, I got some beautiful floss, a little kind of themey. They're both blue. Missy gave us this one. It's hyacinth. It's so pretty. I need to find something to do with it like now, yesterday. It's not showing, but it has like, it's like a light blue, and then it has like little hints of like lilac in them, and it's gorgeous. And it looks like, or sorry, it's not hyacinth, it's hydrangea. Wrong flower. We have blue hydrangeas in front of our house. So, but oh, you can see a little bit of the purple in there. So pretty. And then this is from Mary Lou, and it's dyed by Farmhouse Flossies and Such, and is a custom color. It's called Mary Lou Blue. It's a little 10-yard skein, and it is really, really pretty as well. It's more of like blues and grays. And then my friend Brandy gave us new pair of snips. And then she gave us some velour trim in a couple different colors. So that was exciting. So I had a nice little like goodie bag of stuff. I got some other stuff too. I will, let's see. So we'll talk about the fabric at the end, but I also picked up, we had like a little freebie table, and I picked up this Cricut collection. It's called Down East. It says Summer by the Sea. And I actually, does it say, there's coordinates on it. I don't know if it says what those coordinates that are on there are, but this is what it looks like. And I actually might change it to Winter by the Sea and change it to the house and the coordinates of the beach house that we moved to when we first came here to Maine. We lived from September to May, like across the street from the sand at the beach here in town. So I think I want to change it to that beach, and I might change it to winter because we just had a magical winter there. So that was exciting. So thank you whoever put that on in the freebie bag that got passed around. I grabbed that. All right, let me show you my WIPs. As I worked on I worked on stuff while I was there, and then I worked on stuff here. So I spent like, I think 5 or 6 of the days since I've come to you last were spent stitching on those tigers. They did take up a huge chunk of my time, and it was stitchy time. By the time I finished them and got to the retreat, all I wanted to do was stitch. I got the most stitching done at this little like retreat than I ever have at any other. I was like social, but head down stitching. I wanted to stitch. I wanted to get stuff done. So when I got there, I couldn't figure out what to work on, and my friend Tina was sitting next to me, and she pulled out her 324, and Helen was sitting across from me, and she had 324 with her. So the three of us worked on 324 all together. So here's where I am at now. I am past the halfway mark. I have 106. So when I left the little retreat, I had 157 stitched and 167 to go, and now I am reversed. I have 167 stitched and 157 to go. So pretty exciting. But yeah, I got a lot done, and then did a little bit while I've been home, since I've been home also. Really enjoying this piece still. Arlene Cohen again did an amazing job. And so I think February 11th, which is in like 4 days. Oh, did I say the wrong date? Did I say it was the 6th? It's not the 6th, it's the 7th. I have problems. I think it's because I wrote my notes out yesterday and I put the date on it because, yeah. I think February 11th is 324 days from March 24th. So if you started it on March 24th and you were stitching it one motif a day, or planning on being on that pace, you would be finishing this in 4 days. I will not be finishing this in 4 days. I also, though, did not start on 324. I started a little bit after because I ordered it late. But, oh, I love it so much. I'm not super excited about the greens and the yellows, and probably the browns either. Maybe I should have come up from the bottom. Which that's like my normal like starty spot, but for some reason I didn't do it on this one. So hopefully those colors don't give me too much trouble and I will still be happy with this, but I love it. So I got my first yellow right there, and then the greens are kind of gonna fill in, but I got like greens on the ends. So all right, so that's 324. And then, which I knew was coming, I was like, had my eyes on the outside. I was waiting for it to snow. Because I brought my snow day project with me. My snow day project is The Shores of Hawk Run Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. So I'll put the picture of that here. So that's what that looks like. And I was working on the second block. So it's this one. So I finished up the red coral, and then there's a border in here, and I did that all the way around. And then I struggled with the color of the crab, and then I put the project away because, okay, so I designed the lobster biscornu, and there's another lobster here. This is a B52's rock lobster. But so we do lobsters red, right? But lobsters aren't really red. They're only red after you cook them. And I feel like crabs are the same way. And the crab that's charted in this is charted in like a terracotta kind of color, which makes sense. But the DMC that is called for doesn't really look like the needlepoint silk that it's charted with, and I am stitching in DMC. Also, heads up, if you are stitching this and you are stitching in DMC, this little inner border right here, each chart in Shores of Hawk Run Hollow is a separate page with its own separate chart and symbols and colors for that page. The needlepoint silk that is this water right here is converted on this block to 928. It is the same color needlepoint silk that's called for on this block, but then it's called for as 927. So I didn't notice that until I like mispurchased and asked to borrow and the wrong color a couple times. And then I finally looked at it and I was like, this color. And so then I looked through all the other charts to see if 927 was used anywhere else. And it's only called for in this block as the substitute for this color. So while you're pulling for the Shores of Hawk Run Hollow, if you are stitching in the DMC, just keep your eyes open and be aware of what's getting called for, what the names of the needlepoint silks are, because there's no reason for this light jade blue, I think is what it's called, to be different than this. In fact, it makes more sense for it to be the same. Anyways, I still need to figure out what color I'm going to do the crab. And while it snowed yesterday, I did not work on this because I have my new start. And again, not a ton of stitching time because working from home and also having children home was a little bit of a lot. So, yeah, but so this is where I'm at with this, and it's going to stay out. It's staying in its Q-snap. I'm not taking it out. I will continue to work on this block until I finish it, and then I will move on. I don't know if I'm going to move down here or if I'm going to move over here. We shall see. It's kind of, I'm not a huge fan of, I don't have a ton of border on this project, so I don't love stitching like down this edge. So we'll see if that is where I go next to get it over with, or if I'm wanting to go this way and not to deal with it. All right, so that is Shores of Hawk Run Hollow. And then I pulled out my Deadly Aquarium SAL because I am determined to finish this before she releases the next SAL. This is by Lola Crow. I am stitching it on 40 count Fabrics by Steph Frozen Fractals. I am also stitching my Fish and Ships on Frozen Fractals, which I really wanted to stitch this weekend, but after my hands were all torn up from poking my fingers tons of times with a needle, and it's been really dry, I think working with silk probably would have just made me want to throw that project across the room. So here's where this is at as a whole so far. And I will show you where I worked. So I worked primarily in the Don't Touch pool, and I got all of the back stitching done and all of the stitching done in that area. and I absolutely love this piece so much. Just, okay, so the anglerfish is like light. Because the anglerfish is a fish that lives so deep down in the water that it is super dark. And so he has like bioluminescence on his little light. And the colors that are in there are like aqua, like it's like the 501, 502, 503 area. And I think like one stitch of white. And by golly, if that doesn't look like a little light, I mean, just genius color work from Lola Crow. The lionfish so far though is still my favorite. Also, I didn't read I haven't, cause I'm like playing catch up. I didn't read, but like, anglerfish, I always like thought that they were small, but they can be really, really big. I think there are small ones too, but there are like really giant ones, but they don't like wash up very often because again, like super, super deep sea animal. Anyways, I absolutely love this. I am excited because, again, her preview or not preview, but like her little sneak peek teaser photo for her next one was a peacock. And so I don't know if it's going to be like I don't know, it's going to be an aviary or a menagerie or a zoo. But I'm really excited for what is to come next from Lola Crow. All right, and then I pulled out Quinto Acuto. I will post a picture of that here. This is from Long Dog Samplers. I am stitching it on a 36 count piece of linen. It is a light gray. I am not sure. It has a little bit of like greenish tones. I don't know what the fabric is. I got it from a freebie bag and it was a piece that was big enough for this project, which made me really happy. I am stitching this with my own floss collection. I was inspired by, oh gosh, what is her name? I'll put it on here. She did Quinto Acuto as a rainbow, but also a fade, like light to dark and rainbow. So I'm doing a teal light to dark. So these are my flosses that I dyed myself. And here is where I'm at. So I primarily worked on this right here. Actually, I think that's all I worked on. So I think the last time you saw it, I had all this gray done. I did have a little oopsie in here, but I was able to fix it without ripping anything out. I just needed to add some more stitches, which was nice. But I got all of this put in and it's looking pretty good. So I've got some progress there. I love this. I love Long Dog. Ugh, there's another stinking Long Dog that I want to stitch. So I mentioned before that I had wanted to work on Fish and Ships. And the reason that I wanted to work on Fish and Ships is because Long Dog released a companion piece to Fish and Ships and has sea monsters on it. I think it's called something fishy or fishy wishy, or I'll of course put a picture here because Jules is a genius. So yeah, so now wish list items for Long Dog are the new fishy one, 7th wave, and I can never remember the name of the last one that I want to stitch. Ugh, where is that? It's the pyramid one. It's about love. I can't remember. Terrible. Anyways, so I'll put the pictures of the 3 of those. I'll put them up while I'm talking. I need to get some Long Dog stitching done. So I have 3 going. I have Fish and Ships, Act of God, and Quinto Acuto. Fish and Ships and Act of God are huge, as would 7th wave be. Fish and Ships and the new fishy one are a bit on the smaller side, and on 40 count fit on a fat 1/8, which is awesome. With like you have to be okay with just a smaller border, which I am okay with a smaller border. Future Marissa's problem. She can deal with the framing situation. Okay. I want to share a little bit about the Stitchy swap. So I am hosting, or the quilty swap. I am hosting a 2-inch quilt square swap. There is a link for signups down below. Signups will close on Valentine's Day, so that is a week from today. So if you are interested in joining, please fill out that form. You will not be sending to more than 5 people. You will only have to send them 10 2-inch squares of fabric. Very, very low commitment. The ship date is the 19th. Very short turnaround, because even if you sign up on the 14th, you should be able to cut 10, or essentially 50 2-inch squares, because you're going to send to 5 people. Each person is going to send to 5 people, and you will send out 10 2-inch squares. These need to be from a non-smoking home, or a non-smoking inside home. That's what I mean by that. Smoke smell is very difficult to get out of fabric if you can't wash it. And because these are pre-cut squares, we're not going to be washing it. So please, respectfully, please don't send stinky fabric. Please be over 18, because you're going to give me and 5 people your address, or I'm going to give it to them to send those to you. So you need to be allowed to do that. I don't want anything kind of creepy going on. So please sign up below. Go ahead and message me if you have any questions. I am happy to answer them. You can message me on Instagram at Kissa Creations, or you can type a question down below, or you can send an email to the email that is listed in the link for the swap. All communication is to go through that email address once the swap starts, but ahead of time, before you've signed up, questions, please let me know. I'm not going to require tracking on these. If your squares don't get to the person in a reasonable amount of time from the 19th, we're going to talk about you maybe not participating in future swaps. I am most likely able to angel for the first round, but that would eliminate you from other rounds. So if you feel like you need to send with tracking because you're not willing to send again once you've sent it the first time or something like that, just keep that in mind. The reason I'm keeping it to 10 is because you can probably send that in an envelope with like 2 stamps on it. It won't get to that thickness. You might even be able to send it with just 1 stamp on it and it not be a problem. But once you go like padded envelope and need tracking, then it's like a $5 commitment, and I'm not asking that of anybody. Go ahead and send a nice little card. It's not like a throw in a bunch of goodies. It is just simply 2-inch fabric squares cut with a rotary cutter, no pinking shear cuts at this time. Okay. Along those lines, I want to share some kindness that happened when I met up with some friends this weekend. So my friend Amy, who is a watcher of my videos and an Instagrammer, she said, "Oh, I'm gonna bring you some quilt squares for your quilt." And I was like, "Oh, that's so nice of you. Like, you don't need to do that." But of course, you know, like, I very much appreciate it. I was like I was not prepared for the love. So also though, so there's a little, look at this box. And she organized them all by color. So I already like don't have to do half of the work. This little Marvin the Martian though is sitting on the top. And my daughter, who is 7, has no idea who Marvin the Martian is, but she loves him. So he's probably not going to end up on the quilt and going to end up on something for my little one. But so she gave me that, and then Emma from B&E Stitchery had told me that she was gonna give me some blocks. So she cut me a bunch of 2-inch blocks, and she like fussy cut some. So there's like some dang cute little squirrels. Hold on. let me show you this guy. There is a cute little one of his head. Where is it? Oh, goodness. Look at this little guy. Oh, I love him. So, so thank you, Emma, and thank you, Amy. I am ahead of the game already, I feel like, and really excited. So I'm gonna kind of start seeing where I'm at with colors and stuff. We're going to do the swap and then we're gonna go from there. I also managed to snag, I think these are from Amy also. Like I just said, I'm a gardener. So when I saw these and she was like, does anybody want them? And nobody really like jumped at it. I was like, I will also take those. I feel like I was the magical recipient of awesomeness this weekend. And so look at all these, they're all foods. Garlic, eggplant, cucumbers, tomatoes, pineapples, carrots, radishes. So there's avocados. So I actually might do something similar to my wedding guest book quilt and do like jars with these. I've seen them before. My little one was like enamored with these fabrics, and I don't know if she's just enamored with fabrics lately or if it was actually like those veggie fabrics were like the thing that she was super into, or yeah. Anyways, so thank you to everybody. I feel like I just benefited the world out of this weekend. My heart needed it. It was lovely. Yeah. So on that note, plans. Deadly Aquarium 324 are still in my rotation. Super Bowl Sunday is supposed to snow again, so hopefully, excuse me, so hopefully some more snow day project, which means more Shores of Hawthorne Hollow. I'm gonna work hopefully a day or two more on Dreaming of Klimt and get some more work on that done, and then we'll just see where it takes us. So I hope that you are having the best week that is available to you. Please take care of yourself. I have found that less internet is better right now, which means more stitching. So keep stitching. Again, have the best day available to you, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.